Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. I'm Sheldon Barlett Rumor, and this is it. Welcome back to This Is It TV. This Is It Network is your global digital network connecting you with inspiring stories. We connect remarkable women with inspiring stories. We do it each and every day through our growing community, our engaging content, and our real connections. I'm super excited to be able to hang out with all of you and share all that we've got going on. We're going to be talking about disappointment today, my darlings, my friends. Our goal is to be able to make sure that we're hanging in there each and every day, regardless of what comes our way. Wednesday morning today was a little bit of a crazy morning in trying to organize myself, get things done, and kind of show up for myself and be in a good space. And I found that I just needed to take a breath. There was a lot of stuff going on. I know all of you are dealing with it too, personally and professionally, and how to navigate that. And not always, things don't always work out. In our adulthood, I think that we need to be reminded of that sometimes, that things aren't necessarily going to go I don't know what's happening. There we are. Hi, I'm back. There's going to be things that are a little difficult for us to handle. There's going to be things that are a little difficult for us to manage. And as we begin to navigate, as we begin to determine what it is that we've got going on, I think that it's just kind of looking at things realistically and setting our own tone and setting our own space for those types of things. I know that we are in a challenging time where we're doing challenging things, and a lot of different things within our space becomes beyond difficult. Wild. This morning alone, I was hit with so many different things. Good morning. So many different things and the way in which to tackle them. And I had a plan. Good morning, Nicole. I had a plan. I had an agenda. I had the things in which I was going to do. I had interviews in which I was going to conduct. I had meetings in which I was going to participate in. And all of that quickly fell apart. All of that with, one text or one email, things needed to be moved. And there was disappointment that set in. And at that point, I was like, oh my goodness, like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's not working. And it's me. For lack of a better term, shit happens. For lack of a better term, things are out of your control. For lack of a better term, you will be disappointed. All of us have chosen the road less traveled in a lot of different angles of our lives. And when we do that, there is more room for that. There's more room for disappointment. There's more room for things coming unhinged. There's more room for things not going exactly as we had planned. But those of us who overplan, those of us who overthink, those of us who are constantly building and doing and trying and being and all of those things, we get hit the hardest with disappointment, right? Things in which are outside of our control that disappoint us, we take ownership of that disappointment as if we had a role in it, as if we did it, as if we participated in it and we were even the cause of it. We take ownership, blame ourselves, sit in it. And you know that I've talked about the valley and what that feels like, and that we only visit the valley. We don't take residence in the valley. We don't live here. We don't live in this space. Hello, Catherine, how are you? We don't live in this space of things outside of our control. We don't live in a space in which we cannot control these things. We don't live here. This is a place we visit. This is a place we might go to happy hour. This is a place we might just stop by and say hi, but we don't live here. We don't live in a place in which we are constantly disappointed. We move through it. Right? We drive through the storm because we so forget. We forget that disappointments are a temporary thing, that we have an opportunity to rise above and live through and all the things. But we don't live in the disappointments. And they're going to come, right? They're going to come. And those of us that are moms, we see this in our children when they get sad about something that was outside of their control. They get sad about something that was in my control. That I say, I'm not going to give this to you, or you've had too much of this, my darling Sydney, too much candy before 10 a.m. You've had too much of this or too much of that, too much iPad, too much this, go out and play. You see the sense of disappointment. And with that disappointment, that keeps us from doing things. Us not wanting to be disappointed, us not wanting to disappoint others, us not wanting to see the sulking face on our child when we know that they have watched too much television, when we know that they have eaten too much candy, when I know that I have to prioritize my life. People may be disappointed. I may be disappointed, but it's not forever, because the foundation of who you are, what you want, and why you deserve everything that you have dreamt is in play. This is simply just a disappointment, an isolated disappointment, something that we can begin to manage, look, evaluate, and move on and move through. And some of them may hurt more than others. Some of them may be based around the anticipation of something big that we were creating or starting and that just didn't work out right, that just did not come together, that just didn't map itself out. And that wasn't necessarily your fault. My gosh, we are all living in 2020 timing. So the things that we had planned, the events that we wanted to go to, the organizations we wanted to join, the meetings we wanted to attend, all of those things cause disappointment. But if we get to control how we live in that disappointment, we get to control how we show up in that disappointment. I was talking to my students yesterday as they're preparing, hemming and hawing, the poor things, preparing to find jobs, to find internships in this crazy time where people are very seldom meeting them face to face, where there are very few people that are sitting in front of them and saying, okay, I want to interview you. And what does that look like? And what does that feel like? And I told them to not retreat in the disappointment of what this year has turned out to be, not retreat and live in the space of where it is that they are and things outside of their control. They didn't do COVID. COVID was not of their making. That has nothing to do with their GPA, the courses that they have taken, and their ambition that they have. So what are you going to do? If you cannot control COVID or quarantine, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit on your hands and blame 2020, or are we going to embrace the situation that we are in and move forward from our disappointment? Now, when I say this, it is to acknowledge the disappointment. I'm sad. I'm disappointed. To acknowledge it to the point where we don't want to feel it necessarily again, but to acknowledge it and then move forward. So what I encouraged them to do was to dive into who it is that they were and figure out how are they going to navigate this unique space. When we don't figure out how we're going to move through the storm, we sit in it, we get soggy, and the rain comes and the storm comes and it just keeps hitting us and hitting us and hitting us and hitting us until we know nothing but rain. But if we live through it, if we know and remember the sunnier days, if we understand that tomorrow will be better, the disappointment won't become the place in which we reside. It will just simply be a place in which we visit. So I want to make sure that the disappointment that you are going through right now, whether it's based on 2020 or not, whether it's small based on the little things that happened to you or me this morning, or something larger, something huge that you planned that you can no longer execute. What are the other ways? We are resilient as people. I mean, look at the ways in which we are communicating, whether they not be ideal, right? We don't want to necessarily be zooming our life away, but look at how much we've been able to do in these new circumstances, what it looks like, what it feels like, and the ability to connect. This alone has allowed me to connect with people all over the world, which I would have avoided or delayed in the BQ before quarantine type of scenario. So though I was disappointed that I would no longer be in my Philadelphia studio each and every day, I now am fortunate to be connecting with people from all over the globe. I lived the disappointment. I thrive on the other side of the storm. I want you guys all to do the same. It's just a matter of fact and a matter of life. And we know that to be the truth. And I'm not taking away from how uncomfortable it is. It's just me urging all of us or encouraging all of you to get comfortable being uncomfortable as you navigate through your current storms. This morning was a mess, but I still have the afternoon. I'm blessed and lucky enough to have the rest of the day in order to make up for the disappointment of this morning. I think all of us do. If you are fortunate enough to be listening, Are you guys still there? I know. Sorry that we're living in this bad connection. I hope you guys can join me again. I don't necessarily know how many of you hung in there, but I want you all to have a good day. Try not to live in the disappointment. Mwah. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. We're going to be coming to you each and every day at 11 o'clock Eastern. I do my best to show up at 11 o'clock Eastern each and every day. The internet is not in my favor to continue the disappointment of this morning. Listen, there's coffee on my desk. There'll be a Pinot Grigio in my hand a little bit later. I hope that you guys are having a good day and you embrace the disappointments but move through the storm. My hope is that you follow, fan, and like us each and every day as we broadcast and deliver our morning message. If for more information on all that I've got going on, don't forget to follow, fan, and like us at everywhere you find at This Is It TV and log on to thisisItTV.com for more information. If you'd be interested in working with us, there's all those links in order to do so. If you're interested in being a guest on our show, please join me. I'd love to be able to chat with you. My goal is for all of you to find your voice, tell your story, no longer whisper your wishes, and scream your dream. I'm Sheldon Barlett Rimmer, and this is it. I'll see you all tomorrow.